When it comes to IELTS Writing Task 2, there are 7 items that if you follow, you would finally enter the band 7 and above zone. This video is the conclusion of what I learned through taking several IELTS exams, comparing my performances in them, and talking to the examiners to hear their feedback and their logic of assessing essays. Let's jump into them and wait for number 7. There's a surprise there. Number 1, less common words worth it until you keep them less common. Less common words are the words showing the difference between you and a low-level candidate, right? But they should be utilized just once or perhaps some exceptional situations twice in your whole essay. Take this. Plethora is a less common, academic, and formal word. Perfect for writing. Yeah, but if I were you, I'd write it just one time. Otherwise, it would seem you've memorized it without knowing its whole concept of being less common, which means it should not be heard or seen that much. Number 2, count your repeated words when you're forced to use them. Do not use more than 1, or maybe in just some situations, more than 2 in each paragraph. Due to this fact, the more repetition, the lower your ability to paraphrase. Visualize this scenario. The topic is health, for instance. It's such a general word that we literally do not have any other word to mean exactly the same to paraphrase it with. Okay, then repeating it wouldn't be a problem. It makes sense. However, the repetition should be as less as possible. Solution: one of the methods is using different words in its word family, such as healthy and healthily. Another approach is using its collocations, such as mental health and physical health. Number 3, do not make strict statements. Have a tone of presumption and assumption. If you write as if something is absolutely true, you have to prove it, and that's not easy at all. So if you write strictly, you fall into your own trap. Imagine this is my sentence. Computer games harm teenagers' mental health. Or even worse, computer games definitely harm teenagers' mental health. Am I the researcher who has found this result? No, I'm a typical person thinking this can be maybe the case, right? I have to write computer games may probably, or their mix, may probably harm teenagers' mental health. If you can prove it rather perfectly, let's just say may highly likely. So here the solution is using modals and adverbs. Number 4, check, and check your writing at the end. It's vital. Am I clear? Put something like 3 to 4 minutes after finishing your essay to read it. The reason: to see if there is a typo, like a misspelling, a basic grammatical mistake, not writing a the, a instead of an, and number 3, if there is an elementary word like good, bad, thing. These words should be switched to a nicer option. So remember, self-revision is super important because basic mistakes and basic words are for elementary school children. You want to show your knowledge of English is beyond little kids' levels. Number 5, memorize informal words collocation structures. Whenever you see an informal one, make a note, a list, whatever of them, to review later and remember them. For writing, focus on using none of the informal ones, instead their formal versions or neutral alternatives. This tip can be so tricky because we have not just informal words, we have informal grammatical structures. For example, the word also. When it is at the start of a sentence, like the first word in the sentence, it is informal. Where can you find this information? in your dictionary. I prefer this one, Longman Dictionary. I'll put the link in the description. Number 6, passive voice matters. It's formal and more academic. Task 2 is formal and academic. That's why passive verb suited, though you would not have it in every sentence, just for the times that it makes sense. And when exactly does it make sense? Do you know? Let's briefly review where we're allowed to make a passive tense. 1. When the subject is obvious. We all can see an increase in consumerism around the world. An increase in consumerism can be seen around the world. Number 2. The subject is unknown. Some people were creating the English language thousands of years ago. The English language was being created thousands of years ago. Number 3. The object is more important than the subject. Researchers finally discovered and started to extract DNA. DNA was finally discovered and started to be extracted. Number 7. Topic-related advanced words showcase your strength. But general advanced words, be careful not to show off with them. Wow, that was huge, I know. Topic-related advanced words are the academic words, collocations, and phrases directly connected to the topic of the question, the opposite of general words. Example, imagine the topic of the question is crime. You are mentioning fraud, blackmailing, vandalism, offenses, and wrongdoing. Here the examiner would be like, oh my gosh, this candidate has a truly complete control on using their language. On the other side, the question asks for your opinion. You would write, I ruminate, or instead of in conclusion, you would write to recapitulate. Let me be clear here. Your examiner doesn't care about general words, which can be used in any essay, not just in that specific essay. Now let's see why topic-related words are that effective in your score. You know the criteria, right? The items that the examiner is looking for in your essay. If you don't, there's a link in the description to download and check them. I also described them in this video. You can go to the chapters and find the section. So topic-related words mean 1. You are writing about exactly the topic of the question, not something else. That's the task response criterion. Number 2, your words are directly related to the explanation of your main ideas, because again, they are totally relevant. That's the coherence and cohesion criterion. Then number 3, these words, the topic related ones, are academic, formal, and less common, such a wow, that's the lexical resource criterion. You see how interconnected these standards are? And now my bonus, the surprise. If you're rather new here, my focus in this channel, well, for long videos, is on this number 7 more than the others, the topic-related words, collocations, and thus ideas. In each video, one Cambridge IELTS question would be analyzed along with 2 ideas for both sides of the question. All in all, 4 ideas. In addition, there's the PDF of each episode in its description when you can download them for free. Wish you the best and see you in the next video.